what do you call that thing? The Jean-Claude thing when I was the stupid robot.
Universal Soldier.
Well, Universal Soldier, where I had the worst dialogue. I mean, oh my God, I still have nightmares on that. But what was that?
Do some of it for
Oh yeah, the worst dialogue ever. I want to do that. It's like, when I was a machine, I wanted to be a man, and now I'm. That's something. It's something. It's like if you really look into my eyes, I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. But only when I did that, it's like the great thing that happened is powers that be said, well, did he really do his martial arts stuff? And that's what I wanted, because they looked at me as a martial artist. And even Jean-Claude was surprised at the martial arts ability, even though he didn't realize I was in Universal Soldier, the first one. And I actually trained with him. And the producer had me working out with him to make him look a little more kind of less balletic. But I only, like, one day on set, I reminded him. I'm like, because there's a kick where I kick him through the glass, like it's a kind of this kick where I jump up and I cycle my legs and come around. And after doing that kick, I said, "Does that look familiar?" Because I tried to teach him that kick like 8 years earlier. But just I'm making it a long story, but it's like it was so important to establish myself as an actor if I wanted longevity in this business. And so there's still people who, it's about when you're first known, So I would encourage you, if you're serious about acting, take serious acting lessons. And if you're serious about stunts, take that and just have two coexisting.
All right. Go with it, Richard.
Yeah, I'd follow up on what Lionel was saying. I mean, you want to have a broad base of skills and, well, try and hustle a job. And if you get the opportunity to have one, be ready to move boxes and move mats. There's a good living to be made from it. And being a good team member and doing that work and being prepared to do, in a sense, an apprenticeship. Because if you get taken on by somebody, chances are you're going in at the bottom of the team rather than the top of the team. And it's being excuse me, being ready to be a team member, because it's also not about what you're able to do. It's the fact that you might be needing to do safety on his stunt, or being ready to put him out if he's doing a fire burn and all that kind of thing. So it's being ready to do all that and being prepared to learn when you go in. But I mean, getting in is of course the tricky bit.
Yeah.
And it's, in a sense, be shameless about if there's a movie in your locale, going down trying to meet the stunt coordinator and being prepared to do a day. And if you do a nice job on that, you might get a second day.
You should be prepared for anything, because anything can change. If you saw the Buddy Lee Hooker segment, he was talking, we were discussing the whole CGI situation today, where jobs are disappearing right and left. And remember, most people forget that the reason Bruce Lee is such an icon is not just because he was a great martial artist. He was the best filmmaker. He fought almost 50 years of Chinese film in order to do what he had to do in that situation. So he was a great actor and he was a great filmmaker, which added to his martial arts. So you want a rounded experience. You want to become someone rather than something.
A gentleman in the back there. Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Disco?
You
Okay.
jumped at.
Speaking of disco and dance, I heard ballet thrown around and dance being used as a precursor to martial arts and film. And I, as a dancer, wonder about the synthesis between dance and martial arts, especially when there are burgeoning art forms like capoeira coming to the forefront in the film industry. What are your reflections on that?
It's a plus to me. It helps my job. I know that my actor has a rhythm. I know he has steps. Now, the other side of that is if he is not a dancer, if he has two left feet, I refer to his background experience in any sports he's played. If it's basketball, he's learned how to dribble. So I'll take the same way he has to dribble a ball and make those parries. Take the footwork that he would skip, turn, okay, skip, turn, out throw a hook punch. Football, you know, the drills, going through tires, different things like that. Anything that can make him feel less conscious about looking goofy and start gaining some confidence about increasing technique, 1 or 3 moves at a time. So any sport helps, but dance definitely moves things a lot smoother because that means they can remember choreography. Because most dancing requires longer movements than throwing just one punch, an elbow, and a headbutt. You know, which most people can pick up on. I love to choreograph 7 to 10 moves at a time if I can, and most people can't perform after 3 or 4. They get nervous, so you see the acting has stopped, and the person has came back out and is thinking about the next one. So dancing is a great plus
If you
for
look-
moving into it.
Yeah, if you look at the behind-the-scenes stuff on Jackie Chan's movies like Drunken Master 2 or Who Am I, it's not that the actor or the martial artist even can't remember the moves, they can't get the rhythm. So dancing is very helpful.
Gentleman right there.
Richard, I was going to ask you about the fighting style in the Dark Knight as opposed to Batman Begins. How did you approach Batman's fighting style?
We use the same basis, Casey fighting method, for both of them. The reason I got brought in on the second one is because in the first one, well, you couldn't see that much in the second, but in the first one, you couldn't see anything. And they brought me in, the stunt coordinator brought me in to help make the fights more visual and to, in a sense, theatricalize the style that they had. So it was a question of opening up the style, because with Casey, there's a lot of covering up from here, which if you've got a character that's got a black mask, a black cape, and black eye makeup, down an alleyway, in the shadows, at night, with big black sort of shot fins on his arm, you can't see him, you can't see the money, you can't see Christian. So mostly it was to change the style, to open it up, and then close down at the moment of contact. And that was my brief on it, was to try and make it a little more visual, to make it movie Casey rather than real Casey.
One of my friends was the producer of those 2 movies, and he told me that the reason you couldn't see any of the fighting in the first movie is, believe it or not, they built the suit so he couldn't move his head. And so they wound up, Christopher Nolan apparently filmed a lot of really wonderful stuff, but it didn't work because the costume didn't work, so they chopped it up so you couldn't see anything. That's what I was told.
We have time for only 1 or 2 more questions. I'm going to go with this gentleman here.
Okay. How many conflicts have you had fighting against, like, you choreograph something really elaborate or exciting, but you have, like, it's edited to ribbons, or that shaky camera work they do that everybody hates and they still do it?
I've been very blessed in that area, probably because I haven't attacked any of the bigger budget films. The bigger budget films, you lose that power and control. The lower budget films, they appreciate you more. They need you. You build a relationship with the director. You become more important. You also can possibly help out in post. So if it was up to me, I would stay at the 10 million and under, because I know what my final product is going to look like ahead of time, compared to made a crap load of money on a $100 million film, but at the end of the day, no one can remember what the fight was. And to me, I don't want to waste my life and time on a movie for months and not make something memorable, because I'm away from my kids, I'm away from my family. Yeah, my bank account looks nice, but at the end of the day, when the movie comes out, I'm sitting in the audience with you like, oh, God. I'd rather go to my Blockbuster video, get my DVD, Netflix, and be proud of what I've seen. So I've been very fortunate. I haven't had that type of situation. Not saying it won't happen, but I do want to feed my family more. But when you get to the bigger studio films, there's more politics. You're a nobody in post. You did your job, you created your fights, and as far as they're concerned, see you. You know, but everybody's experience is different, so hopefully I don't fall victim to that, because I try to put everything I can into every fight. I'm sure as Richard does as well. He puts his all into those fights, and sometimes it's just out of your hands once the cameras roll or go into post.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, I've been on sets where I've been there with the DP and the director, and they've asked me where the camera should go, and I've given them my opinion, and then they put it everywhere but there. And, you know, got into it with them as far as you can, because, as I said to them on this one occasion, you guys have never done an action movie. I only do action movies. So, you know, you ask me where the camera should be, here. And then a couple of hours later, they're filming it and they say, accusatory, it's not working. How come it's not working? Well, why don't you put the camera here? You're absolutely right. I mean, the bigger the budget, the less control you have. Shaky cam it's become such a cliche now that film students who've never shot a fight, as soon as they shoot a fight, go in close and start to move the camera around. And drives me nuts. Although it has saved me once or twice.
Orson Welles said many years ago, Hollywood is not about money, it's about ego. And it becomes about what I call show business, B-I-S-S, which stands for because I said so.
Okay, last question.
Is that me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Larnell, in your clip reel, that Josh Hutcherson's screen test looked pretty good. He looked pretty good striking those Spider-Man poses. What was your involvement with that, and did you test any of the other actors or even Andrew Garfield?
That was a favor for somebody, and unfortunately that clip had leaked on the internet, and it shouldn't have, and I'm still looking for that person. There's been many test shoots I've been a part of that I can't talk about, you know, where I might have had one day, I had one day with that kid, and that's where we pulled out, and we shot that in maybe 3-4 hours. Yes, it was similar to the high school scene he did before, but the point is they wanted to see what he could do if he was given Spider-Man, and he was this close. When I mean this close, I mean the ink almost dried that close. And, you know, I felt for him that he didn't get it, but at the end of the day, I did my job, I did what I could, you know, and on to the next one. So, but he's got some good stuff coming up as well. He's in Hunger Games coming up, so you'll get to see him do some action. I won't be involved, but I know the team involved, they're my team members. And I'm sure they're going to do an awesome job with him. So maybe it's for the best, you know. So, but thank you. Yeah, once again, no one should have seen it, but once everybody saw it, I said, okay, well, I might as well add it, you know. And here we are.
Well, could I ask the final question of this esteemed panel? Because I always want to, guys, tell me what your dream project is. One at a time.
He was tough. Just let everybody know, I'm a comic book geek to the heart. I read graphic novels, sci-fi, anime, you know, research video games. Right now, one of my top ones, you know, Batman was one of them, but, you know, you have to realize that, okay, that franchise is set in its own way on what it's doing. My dream right now probably Black Panther from Marvel.
Yeah.
I wonder who can play back Black Panther.
No one here.
I'm sure it would be Dynamite. Michael?
Boy, I've got a number of dream projects. It's hard to say. Okay, top 3. Okay, it would be, I guess, Black Panther would be one of them. To do it the way that I have it in my head, it's you know, I think that would be interesting. It would basically be Obama who could whoop your ass. And another one is Paul Robeson's story.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Where do you put the fight scenes in there?
Well, you know, you make Old Man River when he sings that. You know,
The entire white entertainment industry is the fight.
right, yeah. And I guess I'll give those 2.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah.
I would like to do something that's a more urban sword movie, maybe a sort of Highlander type thing. That would be something I particularly enjoy. And as most of my career takes place in Eastern Europe, I'd like to do something that's close to home, where I can drive to work from my house.
Eminently practical.
All right, Lennon. Just to wrap up, what are your next projects? What do you guys have coming up? I can tell you right now, you can see Larnell's work tonight at 10 o'clock here at ActionFest in Boone Rock, which is a terrific picture, by the way.
Currently, right now, I'm working on Medallion with Nicolas Cage. Just left at 4 a.m. last night and caught a plane here off set. Also, I'm currently choreographing the new Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude, Dolph, and somebody else who I can't mention yet because the ink hasn't dried, so I don't want to put anything out there or have it hitting the net and it's not true. But we're definitely going for some gritty, brutal stuff I think hasn't been seen yet, but you'll be able to see it in 3D too. This will be my first 3D experience, so I'm learning a lot with this, and it's not going to be cheesy 3D. If anybody has seen Part 3 with the director John Himes, it was probably one of the best straight-to-video action films of 2010. You know, so yes, he did an awesome job. He has a bigger budget, and we're teaming up, so I think it's going to be some hot stuff. But I have 2 other things coming up, but I can't talk about them just yet. You know, but you'll hear about them. So after things get settled, so.
Well, you guys know about the Mortal Kombat thing on Tuesday.
That little thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a number of very interesting projects in the works. Some things that are already on the way out is oh man, what is it? I've got a damn, what was it? I don't know. Oh yeah, well, you know, this is the Never Back Down 2.
Did anybody see it last night? Okay, because I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how it came out. But let's give Mike a hand for his first directorial debut with
Got a Black Dynamite cartoon. It's picked up on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim.
All right.
Yeah. And a few other things in the works, but I don't want to say anything too early.
I just came off the back of Sherlock Holmes 2. Got Ironclad opening in a couple of months. And other things I'm negotiating for, but I don't want to say in case it's not me doing it.
And I'm going to the laundry on Tuesday.
Did you sell your book?
Oh yeah, I've got my new book, the martial art movie book. I've got the new martial art movie film, and I've got a new book coming out in a couple of months called For 1 Week Only, The World of Exploitation Films. And that's connected to a documentary called American Grindhouse. And who cares?
Lastly, guys, find me on Facebook because I'm about to do the Twitter thing. I don't want to do it.
Oh, come on, man.
But I have to, and I'll be able to start revealing a few more things because as fight choreographers, we're so behind the scenes until there's a face you can relate to. It helps you get excited about knowing who's attached to the project because you know they're going to bring some passion to it and hopefully some kick-ass fights. So it's great you know who's the director, who's the actor, but also you should know who's behind the action. So you don't waste your money when you pay 12 or 15 bucks at those theaters or buy a DVD. I want you to get your money's worth, so I'll try to put as much out there about what I have coming up. And shoot me an email or find me on Facebook and we'll take it from there. Just don't ask me for a job yet.
Yeah. It's absolutely unfair. The choreographers in China are superstars, and it's absolutely mandatory that we support these guys and tell the world that we love their work because they're special. Now somebody take a picture of me with them.
Thank you so much to our panel. Thanks.